What's up, everyone? It's Cannan back with another video, and today I decided it's been a while since I've done a video based around just random video games and talking about them, because you all know I love video games. They are more than a hobby. Like, I love them. I love playing them. You can ask Jess. Nothing really brings me better joy besides her and Ruby than video games. And so I was trying to think of video ideas to do, because since we're going on a vacation, wanted to do some videos to prepare ahead of time. Didn't want to make them very long because Jess has got to upload them so they can go up when we're ready for them. Plus, she's doing a bunch of work on stuff for the convention. So I was like, what can I come up with that'll be easy to do and be fairly quick? And I decided to do this, talk about games that I would like to see ported to the Switch, or whatever or if not the Switch that's out now, maybe whatever Nintendo has down the pipeline, whether it be a Switch Pro, a Switch 2, who knows. And I know a lot of people don't like ports, because they would like to see actual new games come out instead of just companies relying on ports. But a lot of these are games that I either did not get to play a whole lot of or never got the chance to play at all, that I would like to see brought to the Switch so I could play them instead of having to go out and rebuy systems. And I've made it no secret that I love Nintendo. I love Nintendo games. Do I agree with what Nintendo does as a company every now and then? Moving on. No. I do agree with a lot of people who say that Nintendo is very tone deaf in preserving their history. It's right up there with them closing down the 3DS and Wii U shop, and pretty much people losing games that they paid for. And Sony is kind of guilty of it as well, though they are apparently going to get better at that. If this whole development team that is supposed to be preserving their older games is true, hopefully that means actually being able to download PS3 games if you have PlayStation Plus instead of cloud gaming. But yeah, Nintendo is very behind, or maybe they just don't care for preserving their gaming history. And if they do come out with something old, they charge you full price for it. Now, some games, $60 is better than $400 or more, but still, I wish Nintendo had a little bit more pride in their past. When the Mario collection was announced, I'm not a huge Mario fan. You all know this, even though I have played a few Mario games on this channel. But a lot of people were disappointed with that because it was just emulations pretty much, or old ROMs just placed on the Switch. A lot of people were hoping they would have had put more behind it. And stuff with like the whole Nintendo Online and adding the what's it called, the expansion thing, whatever, where they charge you so much to play some Super Nintendo games and Sega Genesis games. Yeah, people got upset about that. But anyway, I've talked enough about that. Let's get to these games that I would like to see ported. Now, some of the first game is not exactly a Nintendo title, but it's in a long-running series, and this was my first game in the series, and it was on the Nintendo GameCube. So that's why I am associating it with a Nintendo video. And as always, if you guys do enjoy our content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, and all that other stuff. So here we go. The first game I'm going to talk about that I would like to see ported onto the Switch, just because it was on the GameCube, Tales of Symphonia. My first Tales game, still in my top 5 list of favorite Tales games. I played this game religiously one summer. I played it over and over, doing different things, playing a few of the different outcomes. I thought it was amazing that it was a GameCube game that required 2 discs to play, And yeah, just really, really enjoyed it. Though if this ever did get ported to the Switch, I would rather it be the PlayStation 2 version, just because the PlayStation 2 version has stuff in it that is not in the original GameCube version. Now, technically, yes, the PlayStation 2 version was only released in Japan, but it was eventually brought to America on the PlayStation 3 as part of the Tales of Symphonia Chronicles edition, which came with the first game with all the PS2 content, and the sequel, Dawn of a New World, which was originally a Wii game. Not a very good game on the Wii, but it was at least a little bit better to play on the PS3. So like I said, even though this is not strictly a Nintendo game, it was on a Nintendo console, so I associate it with as a Nintendo experience. So yeah, of all the Tales games I'd like to see brought to the Switch, Symphonia is definitely one of them. They did it with Tales of Vesperia, so maybe this one will one day. Next on my list is a series that I've still not gotten into this day. I would love to play these games. I've not gotten to play the newest one yet, and that is Metroid Prime Trilogy. I've heard a lot of good things about the Prime series for Metroid, and I never got to play these on the Wii. So yeah, I think they were originally GameCube games, I think. And with, us still waiting on Metroid Prime 4, which is forever in development hell, it looks like. If that game ever does come out, which I'm sure it will, it just, yeah. You would think they would want to maybe capitalize on its release by re-releasing the Metroid Prime Trilogy on Switch. That way all 4 games are on the Switch. And that's usually just how I think. Why not just put all the games on one system? Kind of like how they finally did with Kingdom Hearts for the PlayStation 4 and all that. So, like I said, not really played the Metroid series. Would love to get into it. I may play the new one when I can eventually get it. But this is one series that I would love to play. Never got a chance to play it because I missed it on GameCube, and to tell you the truth, I was just not that big of a fan of the Wii, so I didn't buy a lot of games for it. So yeah, please Nintendo, bring the Metroid Prime Trilogy to Switch. The next one is probably never going to happen, and a lot of people would roll their eyes at this after what happened with the most recent remake / re-release that they brought to the Switch in this series, though that was technically a remake. But I would love to see the 3DS remakes of Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire ported to the Switch, because the 3rd generation is my favorite Pokemon games. I loved Pokemon Ruby because that's the version I picked back on the Game Boy Advance. I loved that game. I don't know what it is. It was the first Pokemon game I played that I just really I don't know what it was. I didn't get the feeling from the first 2 like I did with the 3rd generation. I loved Hoenn as a region. I really like the gym leaders. Some of the Pokemon I didn't really care all that much for, but more or less I did kind of enjoy the 3rd generation Pokemon as a whole, even though, like I said, there were some of them that I kind of like, what were they thinking when they made that one? But I think every generation has that. So I'm like, if they did remakes of Diamond and Pearl, why not just port Omega and Sapphire over, because I wouldn't imagine porting something from the 3DS over to the Switch would be that hard. You would just have to take away the 3D aspect. But I mean, if you bought any of the versions of the Nintendo 3DS that got like the 2DS, it didn't matter. So it's not like that would really be something that would cause any trouble. But yeah, this is definitely probably never going to happen. It's just on my wish list because I love Ruby and Sapphire. I love that generation, and would just like to see it instead of having to go back out, find the games, and then buy a 3DS or 2DS XL to play them. So this next one, which is number 2, has been on mine and probably a lot of other people's wish list for years. When Zelda was coming up on its anniversary, many people thought that we would get something like this, and sadly, all we got was Skyward Sword HD, which, hey, it's another Zelda game on the Switch. Not my absolute favorite. I did play it on the original Wii, and it's one of the most frustrating times of my life when I was playing that game. I did hear it's a bit easier to play on the Switch. But I would love it because I think Nintendo would benefit greatly from it. I would definitely get it. I think a lot of people would pre-order it, and that is if they would release a collection on the Switch that has the Wind Waker HD from the Wii U, Twilight Princess HD from the Wii U, the Ocarina of Time 3DS remake or remaster, whatever you want to call it, and the Majora's Mask remaster on the DS. Could you imagine the numbers that this would probably do? Zelda is probably one of the most popular gaming series in the world, in existence. And even though these are games many people have played 1,000 times, people would buy this. They would buy this if these 4 games were included on a collection, because look how many Wii U games that Nintendo has already ported very easily. So Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, I do not think should have any issues bringing to the Switch. Maybe some technical problems with Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time since they were made for handhelds, but you can't tell me they wouldn't be able to do it. Heck, I would be happy with just Twilight Princess, though, because Twilight Princess, to this day, is one of my all-time favorite Zelda. It's probably my favorite Zelda. Breath of the Wild is a close number 2, but I just loved this game. I loved how dark it was. I loved how different it was. I just loved everything about Twilight Princess. I got it for Christmas on the GameCube the year it came out, and I literally played the game all day. That's all. Like, no matter what else I got for Christmas, that is the game I played for weeks after that Christmas. I love this game. Would love to replay it. I wished I had gotten a hold of a Wii U back in the day to play it, but it was at a time where I was still in college and I was broke, so I couldn't get a Wii U. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those games that I would have bought a Wii U for if I could have at the time. And if they never port it and I have to go out and buy a used Wii U from a garage sale or a used game store, I may do it one day. But yeah, I would love this. I would love either this or just a full-on collection of these 4 games. Skyward Sword's been released, so that's off the table. Let's put these 4 games on the Switch because I think it would be a huge seller and a lot of people would enjoy it. Will it happen? Yeah, probably not. All right. So the last game I'm going to talk about a little bit because it is to this day the only game besides Twilight Princess. If I have to, if this is never brought to the Switch, a Switch Pro, a Switch 2, whatever the successor to the Switch will be, if this never comes to it, then I will go out and find and drop money down on a used Wii U to play this game because I've wanted to play it for years, never got a chance to. I had a chance to buy a Wii U and did at one point, and I just couldn't because I couldn't afford it. And now I could afford it. But probably never going to happen because I think it's already been told that the Switch probably isn't powerful enough to handle this game. But I think, you know, a Switch Pro or even the Switch 2, I'm calling it Switch 2 just because we don't know what it's going to be, could probably handle it, but I hope this gets brought to the Switch because I would buy it day one, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, the other Xenoblade games, they're just not for me, okay? I remember when Xenoblade Chronicles first came out, and it was Japanese only. I remember Operation Rainfall trying to get it, Pandora's Tower, and The Last Story all brought to America, and all 3 of them eventually did, and Xenoblade is pretty much the only one that really took off, and they brought the original Xenoblade Chronicles to the Switch. It looks great compared to the original on the Wii. Then, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out, and now there's 3. This is the only one that they've still not touched. And the biggest reason why I want to play this is because it's the kind of game I enjoy. You create your own character. It's open world. It's got a massive world. It's very long. It's got a lot of content. I believe people have told me the epilogue alone is hours and hours long. This is a game that has been on my list for a long time. And I'll never forget, we were at our local game shop and I had found the game, and so there was one time where someone was wanting to sell me a Wii U. I couldn't afford it. And then this next time I was going to. I had the money. I was going to buy a Wii U, but you couldn't find them anywhere. This was around the lockdown time. Actually, it was still during lockdown, but like things were starting to reopen. And so I was wanting a Wii U because I wanted one. I wanted to play this game. Found the game. I was like, okay, let's go see if they got any Wii U's and how much they are. None. Couldn't find them anywhere. At that time, I worked at GameStop. I called my boss. Hey, do we have any Wii U's? No, we didn't have any systems. You could not find systems anywhere. So that was the one chance I had to finally buy a Wii U and I almost bought the game just so I'd have it. But at that time, I was still naive to think, oh, well, maybe they'll bring it to Switch because Xenoblade is very, very popular, and still no word. Hopefully one day. Hopefully with a different version of the system or something, maybe we'll get something, but who knows. But yeah, that is a list of games from the Wii, GameCube, 3DS, and Wii U that I would love to see brought to the Switch. I know a lot of people don't like remasters, but hey, I just wanted to make this video and share it with you all. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave me a comment. As always, guys, this is Canaan. Me and Jess love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.